Hey, it's Matt from Inner Public Speaking. Today we're talking about embarrassment, specifically fear of embarrassment. Now, fear of embarrassment falls into one of three categories that I divide fear up into. So I like to say that there's emotional fear, physical fear, and logical fear. And I want to go into what I mean by each of those three categories in another video. But for now, I'm just going to be talking about fear of embarrassment, which falls in emotional fear. And by emotional fear, I mean fear of an emotion. There's an emotion such as embarrassment, guilt, shame, jealousy, anger that you don't like, and your body, as a way of avoiding that emotion, will put fear into you so that you fear an activity that your body perceives would lead to one of those other negative emotions. Therefore, to stop the fear, you stop even thinking about doing that activity. For example, public speaking often can be associated with embarrassment. Your body will make you fear public speaking, so you stop even considering doing public speaking to avoid the embarrassment. Okay, now what is embarrassment? You've probably had an experience in your life where you did something and the result was everyone laughed at you and you felt just awful. Now, I think there are two things that lead to people laughing at us and us feeling embarrassment. Your peers perceive you to be at a specific level of coolness or status, just here. When you act cooler than you are, you try to step out and act a bit cool, your friends detect this incongruence and go, no, not cool. You're trying to be someone else. That ain't. Who are you? Who do you think you are? And suddenly, instead of acting cool, you're like, well, okay. And you shrink back down to the normal level that your friends want to keep you at. Now, the other end of the spectrum is when you act less cool. So you go along and do something dorky that your friends are like, oh, low status. What are you doing? That's so uncool. You're like, oh, okay, and you come back up to the level that your peers perceive you to be at. It maintains that homeostasis. Why is this a good thing? I like to dabble in a bit of evolutionary psychology, and I like to look at behaviours that we perform today in our modern world and look at theories about why they exist based on theories about how humans acted 50,000 years ago. Let's take a look at embarrassment. In a tribe of 50 to 150 humans, there would be a specific kind of hierarchy of status. So there's the lowest status person, and then a climb up to the ultimate alpha male and alpha female. And everyone knows their place in the tribe. Now, a tribe runs well when there is a defined hierarchy and everyone knows their place. Everything is aligned, everyone knows their duty, the tribe can achieve its goals and survive well. I think nature might have created this mechanism of embarrassment to maintain tribal hierarchies. When an individual starts to act out and be a bit cool and come out of his place, the reaction of the other humans in the tribe will be to like, no, haha, what are you doing? You're not there, haha. So the human comes back to where they're meant to be in the tribe. Even again, at the opposite end of the spectrum, if they act in a way that's lower status, the tribe will be, no, what are you doing? That's so lame, don't do that. And the human comes up, and the hierarchy is maintained to the benefit of the tribe, which can now have more chance at survival instead of a tribe with disharmony and a lack of a formal hierarchy. So embarrassment has a positive intention. When you fear embarrassment, that's a good thing, because that's good for humans. It maintains a hierarchy. maybe not so useful in this current age, but for getting us to where we are right now, evolution has done well by including this mechanism called embarrassment. Now, in public speaking, you are being the high status person in the room. You're being the coolest, you are leading, you are dominating, you are dictating your opinions to others. There's a pretty high chance that you're acting higher status than how you are generally perceived. Now, seeing as you've already had an experience in your life where you've acted cooler than you're actually perceived, and it led to embarrassment, your mind tells you, oh, don't do public speaking because it will lead to embarrassment. So it creates fear such that you avoid public speaking. This is definitely going to happen. If you have not had lots of reference experiences where you're the high status person speaking in front of lots of people, definitely your mind will pump you full of fear to get you to stop even considering doing public speaking because it can't deal with the embarrassment. It's an emotional fear. It's fearing that emotion of embarrassment. The only way to not feel that fear is to have had lots of reference experiences where you are the high status person and magpies and have dictated your opinions to others and been accepted as the high status person. After multiple experiences like that, you begin to identify with that and realize, yes, I am this high status person. I can act like this. That's fine. It's not going to lead to embarrassment. But for where you are now, there's probably a high chance that you fear public speaking because you haven't had the reference experiences and you perceive it to lead to emotional fear. Fear of emotion, embarrassment. Okay. How do you deal with this? If you had no awareness of this concept at all, you'd probably just feel the fear and go, no. Your body will find a way to make you not engage in that activity. Usually I find when we have a bit of awareness of what our emotional mind is doing to us in the background, when we know that, yes, our mind is generating fear for us such that we avoid this, we can kind of zoom out and see that from a more conscious, logical perspective and go, and from there we're able to kind of thank our body for its positive intention but override its instruction. So I think just knowing this, knowing the reason why you might be afraid of public speaking is because of embarrassment, you'll be able to still step up and do it. Consciously knowing, yes, you're feeling fear, you're worried about the embarrassment, you'll be able to override it because you'll have that choice. You'll be able to frame it, yes, I understand this, no, I'm doing it. So next time you feel fear of public speaking, check in, am I just fearing acting high status and possibly experiencing embarrassment? If it is, step up and do it anyway. Get in front of that audience, feel the fear, like Susan Jeffers says, feel the fear, do it anyway, and go for it. Make it the best. You'll accumulate reference experiences of being the high status person, and eventually it will become you, and you won't have a fear of it. Matt from Inner Public Speaking, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.